can't feel my face. Coffee spilling all over the place. Forgot the sticks, we're turning around. Another weekend in some hockey town. With a pucked up parents, frozen toes, big hearts, bad luck. With a pucked up parents, one more tourney, one more puck. We're broke, we're loud, we love this grind. Cause our kid just scored and we lost our minds.
All right, welcome to Puck Up Parents. We're on episode number 5. Holy cow, I can't believe it's gone this far. I can't believe we've gone this long. Angela, let's get into it. We got a packed up show today. What do you got first? You want to talk about our weekend, or you want to kind of go over what we did last week?
Let's do a quick kind of recap of what we're doing. So we are novice hockey parents, talking about just what it's like to be a hockey parent, not necessarily what drills we're going to do, game strategy, or anything along those lines. It is just what we as parents experience in the world of youth hockey.
Right, we are hockey parents in Kentucky. When you think Kentucky, you think bourbon, you think horse races, and you think hockey parents. That's us. So that's a short recap. Let's talk about the weekend. It was really a blah weekend again. That's almost like 2 in a row. My observations, number one, we had a sick 12U player, so he did not get to play this weekend because he was sick. I think there's something going around the area. Also, number two, our son did score a goal, and instead of doing a celly like most kids do, our kid likes to taunt the other bench, and he did the Hulk Hogan hand to the ear to the other bench because they were talking trash when he missed an earlier shot. Anything for you this weekend?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't necessarily encourage your kid to trash talk the other team, but it happens.
It happened.
Um,
His ass once.
So I will say the second 12U game did get canceled because there were actually like 4 or 5 kids on the team that were sick.
Oh, that's true.
So it was, yeah,
If you're keeping score, our son's team, the Cyclones, was defeated by the flu.
yes.
And you were saying the rink that Sam played at, there was dog crates on the lights.
So it wasn't the lights. They were like speakers or the sound light or the, what do you call them? The disco lights for open skate. There were literally dog crates over top of them. It was definitely interesting. And this was actually a nicer rink. And I didn't notice until they had hit a puck and the puck hit the ceiling. And then I looked up and was like, oh, there's like 12 dog crates on the ceiling over different lights and speakers and whatnot.
Maybe they like to play Who Let the Dogs Out at the public skate. All right,
Oh, ha ha.
let's get into this episode. It's episode number 5. So we have a very special episode. It's our special episode. Who do we have guest in studio?
We have goalie mom extraordinaire, Shawna, who happens to be, I think, the first or second person I told about this podcast idea to. And she was very excited about it. So, of course, she's our first guest. And since you and I don't know a whole lot about being goalies, we've invited our goalie mom extraordinaire here. So we'll give her the mic for a moment and let her tell us a little bit about herself and your hockey origin story.
Well, just like the two of you, no hockey experience whatsoever. My son Chase has been playing for 12 years, and the minute he even told us he wanted to play hockey, he said he wanted to be a goalie. He never wavered from that. So, through like the last 12 years, we have learned a lot through YouTube and talking to people and watching. So, extraordinaire, probably quite the stretch, but we've learned a lot along the way.
So you have 2 kids, and the oldest son didn't play hockey at all, right?
No, actually, my oldest did not play until last year, and he joined the lowest level of beer league and is loving it, but never played like Chase's.
So take me back. So he's 17. He's the same age as Sam.
Yes.
Chase, at what age was it a learn to skate that progressed to I want to play hockey, or was it just I saw NHL on TV, I want to play hockey? Like what's his hockey origin story?
So pretty interesting. He was 5 and he was playing video games with his older brother, and they were playing some hockey game. I don't know what system. And he came to us and he said, I want to play hockey. I want to be a hockey goalie. And we didn't really think much of it. We kind of laughed it off. And he was very persistent and he kept saying, I want to be a goalie. I want to be a goalie. So I took him to a learn to skate at the local rink. Uh, Ice skates, had toe picks, all of the good stuff. And it was an hour-long lesson. And he skated across the rink. It took him an hour. Michael, I'm not talking goal to goal. I'm talking the short width of the rink. It took him an hour, and he
So
got
he
off
can
the
skate
rink
worth a shit,
and
which explains why he's a
oh my
goalie.
god, no. Yeah, he couldn't, I mean, he could barely stand, God love him. And he got off, and I thought, "This is gonna be short-lived." And he looked at me with the biggest grin, and he's like, "I loved it. I want to do it again." So we went back the next Wednesday, another hour. It only took him like 50 minutes that time, and he went across and back. So we did that, and he progressed, but he kept saying, when do I get to play hockey? And so I knew that I couldn't just keep him in skating lessons. So then I actually found at Miami University, they had a learn to play. And they basically put sticks in the kids' hands because they had the thought that the kids will learn to skate because they're going to want to go after the puck.
Right.
So we signed him up for that. But he kept saying through all of those, when do I get to be goalie? When do I get to be goalie? So on Saturdays, they would scrimmage, no equipment. He would just go stand in front of the net and he would stamp the pucks. He had no desire to score. Okay. All he wanted to do was stop the pucks.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. It was,
That's funny
I
because
mean, he,
in anticipation of this episode, we reached out to our Facebook crowd and we asked, there were questions, what questions would you have for a seasoned varsity hockey player, goalie mom? And it's funny, one of the parents, her name was a Cheyenne. She actually said her daughter, it sounds like she went down the same route. It is tunnel vision. She started playing hockey just to be a goalie, and she said video games was a big thing. Every time she played the video games, she would choose the goalie, and NHL, she would watch NHL games and just be watching the goalie the whole time. So at no point did Chase want to skate out, play defense, play offense, or score goals. He was all about being between the nets.
the first year that we joined a mite team, I said to the coach, we were at this parent meeting, and he said, all of the kids are going to have the opportunity to play goalie. It's going to rotate around. And I raised my hand and I said, so my kid only wants to play goalie. And he's like, laughed it off a little bit. And he's like, no problem. I said, but I totally get wanting to let other people try it. And Chase would get so irritated when other people wanted to play goalie.
And we saw
And
that too, didn't we, with some of the goals,
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah, with some of the goalies that Sam played with, yeah.
Yeah,
he
where they were
only wanted that position.
So, were you like Angela and I when like Angela and I had to go out and hockey for dummies book. We had no background. Did you know the sport of hockey? Did your husband have any background in hockey? Like aside from Mighty Ducks and a few college beer drinking minor league games, Angela and I knew nothing about hockey. What was your inclination when he joined? Did you start studying up? Did you start reading?
YouTube videos. I
Thank
watched
God for YouTube.
so many YouTube videos. I actually took notes and I had a list of order of how to put the equipment on. So I would sit in the locker room and I'd have the pad of paper and I would say, okay, first shoulder pads. Okay, next put on the skates. Okay, then, and I went step by step. My
I'm
husband,
picturing I'm sorry, I'm picturing Forrest Gump putting the gun together. It's Shawna's blindfolded, like, hat,
yes,
helmet.
my husband, I don't think had ever even stood on ice skates. I didn't really follow NHL. I mean, I went to Miami, so I went to a few hockey games, but that was more of a social thing.
Right.
Didn't really, care so much about the game. So this was our first go round. I mean, the first time we had to buy Chase equipment, I literally took him into the hockey store and I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. Please figure out what I need and what sizes.
Okay, so that's probably one of our questions, Angela. At what age did you start? Because I've seen a lot where people are you get donated gear. We got donated gear for our kid. At what age do you buy your own equipment for your goalie kid?
Well, for mites, the equipment was given to us to use, and it was the league's equipment. So then, when he turned into a squirt, we went and bought all of the equipment for him. So we bought the pads, the glove, the blocker, the stick, the helmet. everything.
Wait,
And ever
or was this all brand new?
yeah, it was all brand new. And then but actually I look back and I was like, that was so cheap.
Of
Because
course.
we just bought him all new gear and now he's in seniors. And just to kind of give you some take on that, our first year we said we probably spent about $600 on everything. We just bought pads for him, senior pads, and they were alone 1,800. And I looked this up just because I was curious. I knew you would ask about this. All in on this senior gear, the last go round, we were at about 3,200, and we are middle of the line
Uh,
equipment.
for the record,
So let
I have a classic 1972 Ford pickup truck. I paid $1,200 for that truck. So,
I know.
Chase is wearing a pickup truck on his knees right now.
Okay, so let's talk about the difference between regular hockey equipment, player equipment, and goalie equipment because they're obviously the big things are different. The pads are different, all of that, but down to the skates, they're different style skates.
Yeah, so you have goalie skates. They're a little bit wider. They definitely do not move as smoothly as skater skates. You've got so goalies don't wear shin pads, but they wear knee pads because they drop to their knees so much. They have a rather large cup that they have to wear. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
it's
have a
honestly like the size of your head. It's pretty nuts. Uh,
just for
And it
nuts.
covers your nuts.
totally. They have, shoulder pads, and then their helmet is very, protective. So that helmet alone definitely is very different than the skater helmet. So
So
yeah,
much like
there's
yourself, I studied up on goalies before that we broadcast this, and the goalie helmet itself, I know that it seems to be it's a almost a personal reflection of who the person is. Does Chase have a customized helmet? I've never looked up close to his helmet.
wow. You should really start to look at that. We have had so many great goalie partners who've done a lot of things, like have sent it to their helmets to be painted. Chase has always wanted something. One time we did do a custom wrap on it, and that was pretty cool. But those wraps are pretty expensive, and we were changing equipment so often that I just couldn't see us forking out money every 2 years to have this wrap or to have a paint job. So I'm pretty handy with my Cricut, which is vinyl. And so I do all of the lines and the I say decorations on his helmet. That way I can change them when a puck hits it and it takes a nick out. I just take that bad boy strip off and put on a new one. And he's a pretty simple kid, so he loves it because it's not plain, but it's definitely the team colors and he likes it.
And you've even switched it out for summer team.
I have.
So she'll change the colors on it for the summer team versus the regular season team.
I like it. I like it. You're like the parent who makes their kid's Halloween outfit every year. Not spend all the money to buy the nice fancy outfit, just to get out and sew your
I
own.
think she spent enough money on the pads themselves. I think it's okay
That was
that she put some vinyl on his helmet.
that leads me to the next question. So he started at age 5. At what point was it he's fully committed into the net? And then at that point, how often are you replacing equipment? Like I know with again, our kid skates out. He's a defenseman, and kids grow quickly. How often are you replacing that equipment? And does it resell okay?
He fully committed to goalie at around 6. And I think either that 6 or 7, I don't exactly know which year he was that squirt. That's when we bought all the equipment. The first time we got, I think, about 2 years out of everything. And I'll come back to the resale in just a minute. From that point forward, we pretty much got on a very specific schedule of every 2 years.
Okay.
He was growing, and the pads, you basically about every time your kid grows 2 to 3 inches, you're going to have to get new pads. And so, as all good hockey parents, of course, I kept my kid in skates that were probably about 2 sizes too small because I feel like if you change their skates every time you change their shoe size, then
You buy them 2 sizes too big,
Yeah.
and then you make them wear them until they're 2 sizes too small, so you get a little extra time.
We got to shove those toes in there and they got to curl those toes. So I don't feel bad about that.
Oh,
But
so, a learning curve for me was learning that I had to skate sharpened every so often. Is that does that hold true for goalies? Do they have to sharpen just as frequently as a skater? Or is it less frequent because they're not really moving around very much?
it's definitely less frequent. Now Chase takes care of it, so he knows when he needs to. For him, he needs to be able to push off the ice to be able to make the slides. And so when he is not getting what he calls the grip, then he definitely needs them sharpened. And I didn't answer your question, which I think is super important for new parents who are goalie parents. Resale of goalie equipment, it's really hard. I was never able to find a goalie who was younger than Chase that would just buy our stuff, or I could even donate our stuff to. So we always were, I felt like, stuck with equipment. Luckily, the local hockey store did like a buyback program where they gave you a tiny amount of money for your pads, but I always thought of it just kind of as a coupon. So then that way I felt like I was getting something. One time I did put a pair of pads on Sideline Swap, and a lady in North Dakota bought them, which was great. But the shipping on pads, I felt so horrible for this lady. I was like, you could have bought new pads for what you just paid in shipping.
Well, that leaves me like I'll plug this. We have a great follower of ours who does Hockey Gear for All Foundation. He collects used equipment and distributes it to kids that are in need. He's based out of Chicago, Illinois. So plug for Hockey for All Foundation. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. They are a great resource. And if you don't get that resale and you don't get enough money, donate it. Kids are in need, especially goalie kids, because that stuff is not cheap. Now, Angela, I know you want to get into the next subject of this, which is Shawna is very famous for as we get into like terminology and yelling stuff at games. So, Angela, let's let you kick off this next topic.
Yeah, so in one of our earlier episodes, we talked about what hockey parents yell at games, but goalie parents are a little different because, they're focused on the goalie and not necessarily what everything else that's going on. So tell us some of your common phrases that you yell at the game.
Common
Well,
phrase, not "I'm losing my shit" because uh, there's a breakaway with 2 seconds left.
Well, some of it I don't think is like internet appropriate
Or
that I
PG-13.
yell. Uh,
Yes, PG-13.
so really, uh, even he is 18 years old and that puck is coming towards him and I call it like a dribbler and I yell "Chase," because you just never know. Does he know the puck is coming? But cover it. I always say smother and cover.
Okay.
That's kind of like a Waffle House reference. I
Oh,
started
scattered,
that
smothered,
one.
covered. Yes.
Yeah. So
I've
I say
what does
smother
that
and
mean,
cover it. That's a big one.
Seal the
Uh,
post? Angela has sealed the post?
Yeah, seal the post.
yeah, yeah,
What does that
yeah.
mean? Explain that to me. Does that mean cover the
So
back door, like cover the side?
that's the opposite. So seal the post means that when the puck is out in play towards one of the boards, Chase or any goalie for that matter is going to seal the post, which means they're going to put their body, they're going to put their shoulder, their arm, their hip all the way against one of the posts of the goal to
Okay.
seal it.
Okay.
Because shooters usually try to shoot it in there. And so they usually have one leg out, one leg again, sealing that post. They want it to be airtight.
And this one is
And
probably
then
this is
wait,
prob
wait, wait, wait. Before you go there, let's talk about backdoor because that's
that's what
the
I was going
opposite side.
that's
Okay.
what I was going into. The back
Okay.
the most nervous I get for you and for any goalie is when the play is behind the net and the goalie's, like, trying to look over their shoulder to see what's going on, and that's where backdoor comes in. Go ahead, explain the backdoor.
So backdoor also goes into play where if Chase is sealing the side, if he's sealing the post, and the opposite team takes and does a quick pass across the front of the crease to the opposite side where Chase is not sealing because he's against one of the posts. They do a quick pass across. The back door is the side that the goalie isn't on because he can't be covering two sides at one time. So that's where typically your defender has to help out with that. And so we always say, they're leaving the back door wide open. Watch the back door because that defender has to cover the back door.
Right.
and clear it, and clear it. That's another one we yell a lot. Clear it.
So, and to deviate from the normality of that, and you as a specifically a goalie parent, your famous phrase for me is shenannies, which is a gibberish word that you yell. And also, I've sat next to you, and I know Angela has shown me scars of you vice gripping the arm of her. So what happens is when there's a breakaway or something and her son gets shot on, she will grab the person next to her. Doesn't matter who you are, even if you're like my 11-year-old son, Sean is going to squeeze the life out of your arm, out of nerves. So, yes, you are in harm's way if you sit next to a goalie parent, especially Shauna. Any other
Yeah.
phrases that you yell that are rated PG-13 or
Yeah.
less?
Another one of my big ones is, no offense, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. I feel like I need to pray because I say I need all three of them. I
Remember
can't
what you
just need one. Yes. And then I'm also known to sing a lot of Christmas carols. So
yeah,
I'll
that's
just,
that's true. It'll be September and you're singing, fa la 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 la, and it's really odd.
yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah.
that.
The biggest thing is the reason I read so much and I read all these posts and blogs where goalie moms find themselves sitting by themselves and or standing by themselves, and that would be my biggest advice to someone who's starting this journey with their kid is find your people. I have always been so lucky to have found people around me who embrace who I am and embrace that this is a really stressful position and embrace me grabbing or singing my Christmas carols because it's a hard position not only for Chase but also for a parent. I say it all the time. I say all the kids make mistakes on the ice every game, right? Kids are making mistakes. Unfortunately, for a goalie, if they make a mistake, it shows up in lights and sometimes with an annoying parent on the other side blowing a really loud horn. And that's hard. You know, they say it's stressful to watch your kid shoot. It's really stressful to watch your kid get shot and scored on.
Well,
Yeah.
and I've thought of a couple of quotes that I've heard, and number 1 is a goalie is the last line of defense. That's it.
Yeah.
If that puck's coming to the goalie, that's it. The goalie's the last person. Our son may have blown the defensive play, and a forward may have blown the play. The other one is I can't remember who said it, but it is a, famous hockey quote. "Hockey could be renamed goalie." You could rename the whole sport goalie because it's all dependent on the goalie. So as somebody who is a ball of nerves myself, who gets stressed out easily, I bow down to you. And in retrospect, looking at your interaction with the other parents at the rink, it is huge contrast to all my experiences with other hockey parents or goalie parents who are on the glass, who are marching up and down the rink each period to follow their kid on the ice. And true to what Angela said, or maybe you said, they're by themselves, and honestly, if it were me, I would absolutely be by myself, and by myself, I would probably sitting out in my car, a bundle of nerves if my kid was in the ice, so kudos to you for being amongst the crowd. I know alcohol sometimes takes the edge off of that, but kudos to you for being a hockey parent. I bow down to you, and I bow down to your son as a goalie.
And I have to say too, I've learned a lot about goalies because of Shawna and knowing that not all goals are all the goalie's fault.
Oh,
Because like you said, the defense can blow the play.
We are very realistic goalie parents. Every time I always say Chase is a talker. So not all kids are and not all goalies will be, but Chase is a talker. He likes to debrief after a game, but it's his lead. I'm not like, oh, let's go through every goal. But like last week, he says, and even when we were driving down to practice tonight, he said, we really should have beat that team, or 2 weekends ago. He said, we really should have beat that team. But that one, he's like, I missed it with my glove. And I was like, yeah. So he really tries to take accountability because there are goals that are definitely on him, right? He missed it. He slid wrong. He slid late or something. But then he also, there are times where he's like, yeah, I didn't have a chance at that. That was blown defense or that was a back door.
so you let him speak, you let him drive the conversation, and you just react.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that brings you, to the next subject is practices, and we had a 8U parent reach out to us and ask, "What are the best drills do you think that kids learn early on for goalie?" And brings me to my question is, what do they do at home? Are they standing in front of the dryer while we toss clothes in to block the clothes from going in? I mean, What's the training look like, especially at a super, super young age?
So, really, for goalies, the biggest thing is tracking the puck. They have to learn to stay focused and to follow that puck no matter where it goes. So, when Chase was younger, he got a ball. Think of it kind of like a racquetball. It was on a string and then it attached to his wrist. So he could throw it and it would come back to him. So he wasn't chasing it if he missed it because it was attached to his wrist. So he would constantly just throw and try to catch, throw and catch with that one hand. Then taking tennis balls and standing a little bit away from the wall and bouncing the tennis ball like every other hand and then one hand and then bouncing, catching, just anything to get his eyes to track that puck. At practice, it really does depend on your coach and also the organization that you're part of. We have been part of organizations where they've had a separate goalie training,
That was
and
gonna
I
be my
felt like
next question, because I've seen a lot of that where parents are just like, "What do I do? I don't have a goalie coach." If you have a goalie coach, that's gotta be huge huge advantage. So you've always had that luxury of a goalie coach?
no. So when Chase was younger, the first organization we were a part of, they had a separate night where goalies could go. And I did find that, and Chase found that to be very helpful when he was younger because they would work on how to drop to a butterfly, how to cover, how to do different things. The organization that we're a part of now does have a goalie training, but he's the varsity goalie, and the people are pretty much, I think, just some dads who look up drills, and so now that's not as helpful as what it was when he was younger. Now, he actually finds it more helpful for his goalie partner to tell him what he sees or, "Okay, Chase, I saw that you needed to slide over this way," or, "That angle was not correct. You came too far out of the crease." For a couple of years when we were in Bantam, Chase and his goalie partner did have a goalie coach that came to practice and stayed for a half hour, and that was super important and I think really helped him developmentally, but also a summer camp. He did Mitch Korn, shout out to Mitch Korn,
Course,
goalie camp.
just traveling
He's
camp.
out of Washington, but he comes to so many cities. You always sign up Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and it sells out within minutes. And that was an amazing experience that I think really helped with drills and also helped Chase to know what he could do on and off the ice.
Alright. Angela, what else we have? I got, lots of more questions, but I know we're
I
gonna.
know I have so many more questions. We're gonna have to do this again for sure. Because I want to talk. I think we could do a whole talk on goalie partners
Mhm.
and how all of the interactions and how they work together and
I
everything.
honestly, I got a lot of questions on goalie partners from especially from our social media, especially of parents who, and maybe you can touch on this very quickly, of parents
Okay.
who their kid, like, for example, your kid is excellent, the other kid is not as good, and the other parents are dogging the other kid saying, "We would have won if your kid was in goal," or something like that, and it doesn't create a good atmosphere when the kid when there's one goalie that's better, clearly better than the other goalie, but you want them to both play. I don't know how you address that with, especially with the parents or the other kids, to say, "Hey, listen, everybody gets an opportunity to play hockey here. Everybody gets to learn to, get better, be a better goalie, and we gotta take a loss if it means, Johnny gets to sit and go for a game." Any advice for.
So I think goalie partners is such a unique relationship. And you really want your goalies to be supportive of one another. There absolutely can be competition because I think it pushes them to be better, each of them, but you want them to be supportive. At younger ages, I always, during every tryout, when we would make a team or if we were offered a spot, I would say to the coach, "What do you anticipate this goalie situation looking like? Is this a start backup situation or is this a rotating?" And for when he was younger, I just wanted them to rotate. I didn't care if Chase was the best or the worst. I wanted him to be able to play the sport he loved and not ride the bench. Now that we are in high school, that looks definitely different some years than others because you are in more of that we want to win. There's state championships on the line, there's division championships on the line. Even at tournaments, we've been in situations where it's been every other, but then whoever has the hot hand, as you would say, for the goalie, whoever's on that streak looking and seeing the puck, then they would play the championship game. So my advice would be just embrace it when they're younger. And then as they get older, know that if there is a difference in skill level, there might be a difference in playing time.
Cream rises to the top, so to speak?
Jeez.
Angela, let's talk about one of your favorite subjects,
Yeah, so
the goalie mindset, the weirdness.
okay, yeah, so there's a stereotype out there that goalies are weird.
It
They're a
was
little
on
odd.
Sean, I don't know if you watched Shoresy or not. We watched an episode the other night, and that was the whole subject. They kept saying the goalies his name is Michaels. Michaels is effing weird. He's a goalie. Goalies are weird. He was, like, in a restaurant by himself eating a panini, and they were like, "You're weird, dude." So, is that a true stereotype? Chase seems like a well-rounded boy. Does he have quirks? Is he wearing the same socks all season, not being washed? What's going on?
Shauna wear the same socks all season?
Uh,
Yes, but they're washed.
Good. Goalies are known to be a little weird. I think you have to be a little weird. You're going to stand in front of a net, and people are going to shoot a puck at you, and you're supposed to stop it. So,
Do you have any quirks or anything he must do, like, before the
yeah.
game?
So Chase wears his hockey, okay, not skater socks, but like a pair of socks, but he calls them his hockey socks. They go up to his calf, but he rolls them down. So anytime you see him walk into the rink, he will have these, like, I'm going to say like knee high, and he rolls them down like we
Like,
used to do
rolls in
like
the
in the
oil
80s.
Yeah,
circles?
like
Yeah.
little donut around his ankle.
Yeah. Yeah, he rolls them down. He wears the same pair of tights underneath. Not all goalies do, but he wears the same pair of tights. They never get washed. They're in his bag.
Oh,
Yeah, they're horrendous.
that's how COVID
Um,
started, ladies and gentlemen. Chase was patient zero. His pants
right.
caused, the pandemic in 2020.
Yeah. So he's definitely
Falling
got his little
apart?
quirks.
Are they dry rotted or falling apart?
When they get holes in them, then I try to get him a new pair, and I'll even switch them out. And he's like, "Where'd my old tights go?"
Do you sneakily clean them?
Every once in a while. Yeah.
Okay, good for you. Any other quirks? Like, as he gets on the ice, I know they rough up the ice with their skates to make it odd, but, is he doing anything out there that's like, "Oh, yeah, that's his quirk"?
Yeah, I guess one of his things is anytime he makes a save, he shakes his head. He goes like this. And he resets whether he makes a save or whether the goal goes in. I can tell if he's mad at himself because he goes like this and he hits his head with his hand, not hard, but he'll
Right.
like shake. He's like, let's go. So I think those are kind of two of his more little quirky things. He always skates over and back. I would say he does a lap anytime there's a pause in play. So, but yeah, he's not weird. He's not like, putting an index card on the wall saying save the puck and just staring at it or
Oh,
anything weird
like
like that.
Rocky, with Apollo, he had a picture.
Sure. Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
Angela, you wanna talk reflections now?
Yeah, let's talk some reflections. So, there's still so many other things
Oh,
that we
man,
need to talk about.
we've got,
So,
we've only
but
scratched the surface on goalies right now.
right, but we do kind of have to wrap things up for today because we have a game to get to.
Wait,
Our team is playing a game tonight, so
good
we've got to
question.
get to that game.
This is an excellent question that Angela came up with. When did you know you were a hockey parent? At what point did you say, "I'm a hockey parent"?
Oh, there's been so many things, but I would say that the first time that I got him completely dressed in hockey gear, head to toe, and I took off my jacket when I was in the locker room. Then I took off my sweatshirt and I got him out there and I watched him skate out there and he made a save and he just grinned at me. And honestly, I was like,
You're
this
right
is
there.
us. Yeah.
Alright. Angela, do you have anything else you wanna ask Shawna for this episode? We clearly need to carry this thing over into another episode, but do you have anything else?
I think that's it for this episode, but know that we're gonna come back to goalies and talk
Oh,
more
man.
goalie stuff. And again, this is more goalie parent stuff, not how to be the best goalie in the world. This is how to manage with your kid in net and with the other parents on the team. That's what we really want to talk about,
Let's
not
if
the best way to make a save.
if Sam were a goalie, I'd be on my 4th heart attack right now. I mean, I am not lying. I'm a firefighter. I would rather crawl through a burning building, pulling people out of a fire than have my kid in net. I don't see how you handle the stress, and I'm surprised. I'm looking at you right now, you don't have a full head of gray hair. Kudos to you.
Thanks.
With that said, let's close out this episode, our scratching the ice surface of goalies. Angela, do you got any plugs you wanna give for our show?
Follow, share, review, comments, all those fun things.
Yeah, it's been great. We really enjoy the comments. We really enjoy replying. We do have merchandise. Just scroll on our Instagram page or our Facebook page, Pucked Up Parents. Please like, follow, and share. Share with all the rink rats. And like we say every episode, especially if you're a goalie parent, keep your stick on the ice. We are all in this together. Thank you, Shawna. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Out before dawn, can't feel my face. Coffee spilling all over the place. Forgot the sticks, we're turning around. Another weekend and some